Modi made it very clear that India will never let the sacrifice of our brave men go in vain. Once again, this time the Prime Minister has ensured that we give a befitting response in an unprecedented action. The Modi government yesterday banned 59 Chinese applications to break China's economic backbone in India and ensure that we diplomatically punish them to the greatest possible extent. On the case tonight, let me highlight for you just how hard this has hit the Chinese, because this has left me wondering, why is the opposition still refusing to appreciate the move? Are they really hurting for China, or are they behind the braves of India? Ladies and gentlemen, China themselves have now conceded that they are seriously concerned about the ban on their apps. In fact, they're now fearing a 30% loss of bilateral trade. That's right, this move has rattled the dragon to the core. However, the opposition still continues to claim that this is only jingoism and has no real impact. This move will result in a massive loss of rupees 500 crore annual revenue for these Chinese developers, but the opposition still claims that this is only shallow symbolism. This number on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, highlights the extent to which this particular action hurts China's interests. The Chinese application will lose 4.9 billion Indian users, 4.9 cumulatively across these apps. But the opposition refuses to admit that it has any impact at all. And Chinese apps have now effectively lost 66% of the Indian market share. Don't you think this is the strongest message of intent that has been conveyed to the highest level in China? But that's not what the opposition thinks. Listen in to the opposition gripe on this issue.
BJP's commitment to India's sovereignty and integrity reeks of hypocrisy and lacks seriousness. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, India's symbol of sovereignty and integrity. Even his statue was made by China under the orders of the BJP government. BJP must explain why 553 large bronze boards were imported from China as per the CAG report. BJP must apologize and shun its Make in India on TV and buy from China and reality policy.
This is a ban which is not enforceable at all. Let India indulge in surgical strikes against China. BJP government believes in jingoism, in raising the pitch against China. I do not believe in jingoism, I believe in nationalism.
We are living in a digital world, and even our Prime Minister keeps speaking about digital India. In such a situation, how far this measure is going to serve the purpose of ending the present standoff between India and China? We do not know.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the legitimate question on the Newshour tonight: is opposition mocking tribute to our martyrs? That's the question and the debate on the other side.
You're watching the Newshour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining the debate tonight, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, Member of Parliament and National Spokesperson of the BJP, Shehzad Poonawala, Ishkaran Bhandari, Dr. Fuad Halim, Spokesperson of the CPM, MC Abbas, Rajeev Rai, Spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. But tonight my first question is to Dipali Rathore. She's a TikToker, and it's a popular app with almost 12 crore followers. And Dipali, I want to ask you, the Prime Minister has banned TikTok. You are a TikToker. You have millions of followers on TikTok. I want to ask you, will you miss TikTok? Do you think the Prime Minister has taken the right step?
Well, definitely I am gonna miss TikTok very much. But on the other hand, I am absolutely in favor of my Prime Minister, which he has taken a right decision, and I am in complete favor of him. I definitely miss those fans which I have gained there, all the exposure which I got from that application. But here we were, involved in such an atmosphere which have been made by China. And now China is taking the countries digitally, not only with the goods, but also it is coming to other countries and taking over the path digitally. So it was a very important step which has been taken by the president, and I am in complete favor of him.
So Dipali, if there was a new app tomorrow, almost like TikTok or somewhat like TikTok, made by an Indian startup, आप उसको फॉलो करेंगे, उस पर अपनी मशहूरियत जाहिर करना चाहेंगे, या आपको लगता है कि एक बार आपके फैंस जो चले गए अब वो दोबारा नहीं मिलेंगे, आपको एक्सप्रेशन का मौका नहीं मिलेगा? क्या सोचती हैं आप?
Okay, so very nice question, and इसके लिए मेरा जवाब ये है कि definitely if we come up with some Indian application, I would definitely want to get involved into that application. Also, जितने भी लोग, मैंने जितनी भी fan following TikTok पे कमाई है, I want कि वो उस application पे मेरे साथ involve हो और मैं उनसे वहाँ पर connect कर सकूँ instead of some application which came from China. एंड अगर इंडिया मुझे कोई ऐसी एप्लीकेशन प्रदान करता है जहां पे मैं अपना टैलेंट इक्वली, जैसे कि मैं टिकटॉक पर दिखा रही थी, उसी तरीके से उस प्लेटफॉर्म पर शोकेस कर सकती हूँ, देन व्हाई नॉट? Obviously, it is made in my own country, and I am taking privilege of the application which is made here. So that will be more beneficial for me.
All right. So let me get in Mr. Rajeev Rai. Mr. Rajeev Rai, would you support the Prime Minister in the banning of these 59 apps in order to send a message to China, or do you think this is symbolism?
Navika, let me make it very clear from Samajwadi Party side. Any step whatever government of India thinks to take against China, to take revenge about our 20 martyrs, we are there with the government, all support to the government. But having said so, एक के बदले 10 सर लाने वाले 59 ऐप्स डिलीट करके अगर खामोश हो जाएं तो शहीदों के साथ अन्याय होगा. Number one, you have taken 59. If you say today data were leaked by these apps, or privacy were leaked by these apps, I have a very simple question. Paytm, the only app for which Honorable Prime Minister himself came to advertise. I have never seen that, at least in my knowledge. तो Paytm के पास तो आपका आधार कार्ड, आपका बैंक का अकाउंट नंबर, आपका फोन नंबर सब है. Why not to ban that? Number one. Number two, if data were being leaked for so many years, what the government of India were doing? Why they allowed? Why the Chinese companies were allowed to work in India in spite of having our own companies? Why the favor was done with China? This is not enough. We support this ban, but we want even much more than this.
Well, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi ये कह रहे हैं कि सिर्फ 59 ऐप्स को बैन करने से मार्टर्स के साथ इनजस्टिस होगा, और भी कदम उठाने पड़ेंगे. और अगर 59 ऐप्स बैन किए हैं तो पेटीएम क्यों है?
अब शायद उनको ध्यान नहीं आ रहा है या ध्यान आने के बावजूद बोल नहीं रहे. The moment this conflict started, we had blocked the direct investment of Chinese companies into Indian companies. Do you remember, sir? Then we have cancelled the contract of BSNL. Do you remember? Then we have cancelled the contract of railways. Do you remember? And we have put on hold list the certain Chinese companies. Now this is the next system. As far as data theft is concerned, yes, of course, there is a possibility. But the possibility has become a reality when you are in conflict. Till you were not in conflict, the possibility was very less. But when you are in conflict, there can be a very serious repercussion. For example, if some of the army official or security official or an intelligence official, if he is or she is not downloading the app, but their family members are downloading the app, so anybody can usurp the data and the Wi-Fi, and through them they're in the house data and other things using this app. So this was for the protection of the country. So as far as Prime Minister is concerned, we are subsequently successively giving a befitting reply. And not only this, today when the war is fought, it is not just on the battlefield. Like in the 20th century, there was a paradigm shift in the war when the Air Force came. अब आसमान में भी लड़ाई होने लगी, पहले नहीं होती थी. अब ये 21st सेंचुरी है, इसमें साइबर स्पेस में भी वॉर होता है। तो हमने डिप्लोमेटिकली भी चेक किया है, इकोनॉमिकली और साइबर में भी। और डिप्लोमेटिकली तो चाइना वाज डिप्लोमेटिक आइसोलेशन में है ही। तो वी आर नॉट सेइंग दैट दिस इज वन ऑफ द स्टेप्स व्हिच इज बीइंग
That's the point. That's the point. Why is the opposition presuming that this is the only strike that is happening? And that's why I want to get in Dr. Fuad Halim. Dr. Fuad Halim, you know, the opposition which is raising questions. And I start by the Congress party. One leader comes out and says, "Arey, this is symbolic." The Trinamool Congress comes out and says, "This is jingoism." You know, do you think there is going to be only one step to respond to China? We are militarily engaged. There is a military conference that's going on between the two sides even as we speak right now. 10.5 hours have passed and that engagement is still going on. Diplomatically, there are other channels that are working. Cyberspace is one channel where the Chinese seem to have 4.9 billion users in India of the various apps. Isn't this one of the best steps to send home a message?
Well, I think so. Sudhanshu Trivedi that the unlisting of these apps, which is slightly different from the apps being banned, I think that there needs to be a little bit more clarity from the government whether they actually banned these apps or they just unlisted them for a certain period of time. I think Sudhanshu will be a better person to actually detail exactly what the steps the government is taking.
I think we have an audio issue with you, Dr. Fuad Halim. Let me just check that and come back to you. But MC Abbas, why don't you respond to that question?
Definitely. Firstly, Navika ji, I absolutely say this is completely symbolic, nothing substantive it is. And the BJP has a certain modus operandi. They have the mode of operation which is all about jingoism. Let me expose the hypocrisy of the Bharatiya Janata Party today. They can take several crores from Chinese apps and Chinese companies. TikTok India has paid them 30 crores for the PM Cares Fund. Huawei Technologies have paid them 7 crores. Xiaomi has given 1 crore. Why don't they return back the money? No, that they will never do. Second point that I'm trying to make here, there is disengagement talks stage-wise, as we know, commander level talks. But at the Tapsang area, there are Chinese mobilization of the forces, but we get no news on it. So basically, to get them map is to fight with the app. But we need to understand here, Modi ji, the larger picture to be seen here is to avenge the death of our 20 soldiers. Mere apps will do no good. We need a much more stronger, much more bigger, larger statements to be made. But just playing categorizing and making it very small will get you absolutely no results. Whereas you will take all its imposed for making the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel statue.
Well, let me get in Shehzad Poonawalla. Shehzad Poonawalla, I want to ask you, those who backed out of striking Pakistan when 26/11 happened in Mumbai, they are today saying कि जल्दी चाहिए response. 2008 से लेकर 2014 तक, despite military advice, despite advice from the heads of the army and other forces, they didn't pluck the courage to go and attack China, to go and attack Pakistan. Today they are giving lessons on how Modi should actually follow a timeline in order to send his response to China.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Navika, I think that even the TikToker who spoke initially in the debate, she is making more sense than Rahul Gandhi and the previous panelist. The problem with these people is, now see, Syed Abbas said that the government should return the 30 crores taken by TikTok. Why doesn't Syed Abbas ask Sonia Gandhi to return the 90 lakhs taken by Rajiv Gandhi Foundation and start speaking against China? We've seen that once the money came in from China, how they compromised on our economic interests, on our territorial interests, and forget doing anything else against China. They didn't even build LAC infrastructure. Saint Anthony was on the channel 3-4 days ago. You have shown his bite. But today, look at the measures that we have taken. And economic sanction is not a new measure. Economic sanction is something that many countries have used against other countries that are erring. In fact, it has been used by Mahatma Gandhi against the British. It has been used by Abraham Lincoln while he was fighting the Civil War and he wanted to defeat the Confederates. But the point is that it is one of the measures, apart from what Sudhanshu Trivedi said about the FDI norms being tightened, about the Chinese contracts being made tougher, about the country of origin filter being added. We are taking steps on the military front. We are taking steps on the diplomatic front. Today you have United States, France, Russia, all of these countries supporting us. The point is only this, that those who did precious little to defend the economic and territorial interests of India today are upset because TikTok app and others have been castigated. And look at this, they were the ones who are saying they were the ones who are saying Arogya app ko delete karo, Arogya app jo hai privacy leta hai. Today all these people who are dying for privacy concerns have nothing to say about Chinese apps.
Quick response, MC Abbas.
But you are wanting to delete Arogya Setu. What is your problem with TikTok now being deleted?
My good friend, yes. Quick response. As a matter of fact, my good friend Shahzad Poonawala has forgotten about Namo app. The Namo app itself sends third-party transfer information of Indian citizens in US. I think that must be blocked first.
Is Namo app a Rashtriya Suraksha ka problem?
So ultimately, everything boils down to Namo. Everything boils down to Namo because you have a problem with Namo. But let's see what people on the ground think. Our newsroom phones are ringing. Balchandra calling from Pune. Priya calling in also from Pune, Ranjana from Bengaluru. Good evening, Mr. Balchandra. Do you think the Prime Minister is going to just sit back after the 59 apps have been banned because the opposition feels this is just jingoism, symbolic measures that have been taken by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
No, not at all, Navika. This is the first step in the right direction. It's so unfortunate, whatever the PM does, there's a section of people in your program, I don't know why you're giving such a platform to them. They always oppose it. I don't know whether anybody has gone around and seen the LAC. Do you know how the soldiers are fighting? Do you know exactly when they say LAC intrusions taking place? Do they know the ground conditions, what they are? World over, now there is economic sanction that's being imposed. India is doing militarily, India is doing economically, India is doing dramatically. And that's how we have to go. I think it's a long time. Let the spokesperson, your people say, why we have surrendered. They expect Modi surrender. I think they should be ashamed to say that. 640 square kilometers has been surrendered. 1962, we have forgotten how the Indian army were asked to fight with a little
very well put, Mr. Balachandra. Very well put. Who should be called surrender is really out there. The public hai jo sab janti hai. Priya, good evening, Priya. What do you think? Is the opposition right? Is this just symbolism?
Yeah. Hello, Navika.
Hi, Priya.
Hi. Actually, this is really a very good step by our Honorable Prime Minister. And as usual, the opposition has taken, I think they literally take the meaning of opposition literally and want to oppose everything that has been done for the nation. I mean, they don't see how the military is serving at the borders and protecting us. But yet they want to use the Chinese apps. I mean, this is a major, this can be taken as an opportunity for our Indian companies or Indian startups to develop these kind of apps and pull down the market. And that's going to have, that's going to make India much better and stronger. I mean, why can't they see the opportunity?
What?
I really feel the panelists, at least the opposition panelists on a show, should really rethink what they are saying and see what the public like us are thinking.
Absolutely.
As well, and then
full marks to the Prime Minister from the public. Ranjana from Bengaluru is with us. Ranjana's phone line has got disconnected. Let me go across to Dr. Fuad Halim. Dr. Fuad Halim, people feel this is just the beginning. Why doesn't the opposition realize that military action can't be done with a statement to the country, with giving adequate notice to China, and at a time when China is expecting it most? Obviously, other things will follow. Are we in a hurry?
Well, there are two things that have already been very clear. Number one is that we come to know that these what you call temporary, what you call unlisting of apps that the government has done is being followed by a letter asking these providers of these applications to give a clarification, and the providers are engaging with the government. So the government is talking to the providers, and it is placed its concern before these app providers, and there will be clarification. When clarifications are satisfactory, I believe, I do not know what the government will decide, but I think so that engagement is on. The second point is there that the government has clearly indicated there is a more internal issues. The government is apprehensive that these apps being present on Indian soil, being used by Indians, might be a source of leakage of information. So it is not an attack on China, it is more to ensure that our internal security remains more what you call insulated from possibilities of Chinese what you call intrusion into our what you call information and data network, especially the defense. So this is more of a defensive what you call mechanism, what I understand, and as I heard Sudhanshu also describe in that line. The point is that the Galwan what you call LAC issue is a different issue. It's not an internal security issue, it's an issue of people who might have come into our territory. The Prime Minister is denying that. That is very interesting, and he goes on to say that the land that is what you call beyond the LAC is not. He alludes to that land might not be India's land. So that's the greatest what you call takeaway from this what you call engagement that is taking place between India and China is that the Prime Minister of India, the BJP and the RSS what you call acolytes in their map of Akhand Bharat, most probably the land beyond the LAC in Galwan is not in that map, which is why the Prime Minister says that nobody is in our territory.
That's a huge long questionnaire that you posed on. Before I get the BJP to respond to that, let me get in Ranjana from Bengaluru and Jairaj from Kottayam. Good evening, Ranjana. There is the opposition which feels that banning the apps is actually being done by the Prime Minister not to send a message to China but to punish people of India who may be leaking national secrets. How do you respond?
Ma'am, her question is not what opposition is thinking, because whatever Mr. Modi is doing, they are never going to feel any happiness out of that. So as of now, I'll say this, particular step where they have started banning these 39 apps is the best step, and better steps are we are waiting for that. But question is not, I have not called for that. Please remember 10 years back when any such thing were happening, Mumbai attack for example, what we as a citizen were getting, हमको मिलता था कड़ी निंदा करते हैं. From there to banning things, one of our biggest opponent, we are at that step. And we'll be moving towards only getting better day by day till the time Mr. Modi is heading Indians. And that is my reply to opposition.
Well, thank you, Ranjana. Thank you, Ranjana. Well, the people with the Modi. Jairaj from Kottayam. Good evening, Mr. Jairaj. What do you think? Is this symbolic or is this the step in the right direction with more to come in the coming days and weeks?
Good evening, Navija. I'm not Jairaj. I'm Ajay Kumar otherwise.
Sorry. Okay.
Now, I have two questions. I have two questions. One to Mr. Sudhanshu Trivedi and the other one to Dr. Fuad Ali.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Fuad Ali and his party, have they ever denounced the Chinese aggression? To my knowledge, no. And why it is?
All right. Allow Dr. Fuad Halim to respond to you. Stay on the line. Dr. Fuad Halim, respond to his question.
No, it's very clear that the confusion in the lay public, especially what you call propagated by the RSS propaganda machine, is nowhere near the truth. Let's be very clear. That
so are you saying you condemn China today? Are you saying you condemn China?
In 1962, we were categorically of the opinion that the issue on the Indo-China border needs to be resolved amicably, and aggression from any side is not welcome, including aggression on the Chinese side. Secondly, as far as the Galwan issue is concerned, we want a clear-cut declaration from the Prime Minister exactly what happened in Galwan, which led...
Can you condemn China?
Shut up, please.
This is unbelievable.
Please shut up. You want to speak untruths? Go ahead and speak
Just
untruths.
condemn China,
as
sir.
far as my party position is concerned,
Sir,
on
we
the
are not
question of
talking
Galwan,
about
Why don't you just say
1962.
we
We are talking
condemn
about
China
2020,
unequivocally from
and
the
there
CPIM.
is action against LAC. Of course, you want a statement from the Prime Minister, but will you condemn China for trying to intrude into Indian territory?
Well, we want a categorical statement from the Prime Minister that the land beyond the LAC is a land that India claims a right to.
My God.
And definitely our understanding is very clear that what the British have left behind as a border of there needs to be resolved amicably, peacefully.
Sir,
by
can you
both
condemn China?
But at the moment, do you condemn China for its aggression for killing 20 of our braves, sir? Will you condemn China for killing our soldiers, for the martyrs and the family and the children they have orphaned? Will you condemn China for that?
The 20 soldiers that have sacrificed their lives defending the right of India have been what you call absolutely betrayed by the Prime Minister of India.
Not
when
by
he
China,
says that
not by
Chinese
China, Dr. Fuad Halim. Has the Prime Minister betrayed them?
And no posts are being held. So I think so the betrayal has been done by the Prime Minister of India.
Shehzad Poonawala, Mr. Ajay Kumar, you heard Dr. Fuad Halim. What would you like to say to him? He thinks the Prime Minister the Prime Minister has betrayed our soldiers, not China. What do you have to say, Mr. Ajay Kumar?
Yeah, okay. Now, in correspondence to his answer, my question to Mr. Sudhanshu Trivedi.
No, well, we'll come to that question. We'll come to that question. But Shehzad Poonawala, isn't this the more shocking?
One second, Navika, let me just intervene.
Yes, go on.
Navika, the left party officially cannot condemn China.
Does he represent
the left parties cannot condemn China officially. They did not do it in their statement. They can't do it on 9 p.m. on Navika Kumar's show on Times Now, the biggest channel of India. The left parties cannot condemn China that martyred 20 of our soldiers.
Please don't sell your time. Shehzad,
you are an anti-national, sir, if you cannot condemn China. You have no locus standi to answer any question or ask any questions if you cannot stand with the nation of India, if you cannot stand with those soldiers, if you cannot stand with your Indian army. Sir, you are an anti-national.
These 20 soldiers were betrayed by the Prime Minister.
Sir, the Chinese killed them. Say that China is a murderer. Say Xi Jinping is a murderer. Say we condemn China. How can you not condemn China?
These 20 soldiers. The Prime Minister betrayed
the Prime Minister is the Prime Minister of India. Condemn China. Sir, in this battle, we are all one. We are India against China. Condemn China.
And the entire Indian army was betrayed by the Prime Minister of India. And don't shout in place of Sudhanshu Trivedi.
I am shocked, Dr. Fuad Halim. Dr. Fuad Halim, for somebody to say that the 20 braves that we have lost is due to the betrayal of the Prime Minister and no word of condemnation for China is shocking to me as an Indian. It is shocking to me as an Indian, and I really need to get responses from my panelists. I need to get responses from all my panelists. Rajeev Rai, you are in opposition of the Prime Minister, but do you think the Prime Minister is responsible for the martyrdom of 20 soldiers? As Dr. Fuad Halim says, the Prime Minister's betrayal has caused that, or is it China's betrayal?
Tail between his legs. The Prime Minister actually ran away with the tail between his legs. He made a statement that people did not intrude into our territory.
Rajeev Rai, I think Dr. Fuad Halim has lost his balance.
Navika, let there certain things be above the political affiliation, and there politics will come and go, governments will come and go. Rashtra sarvopari hai. When it comes to our 20 soldiers martyrs, there is no compromise in no uncertain terms. We should condemn China And we stand
But
with
the
our
left
government.
parties will not condemn China. But the left parties will not condemn China. Ishkaran Bhandari, I want to ask you, will you take this stand as an opposition stand by Dr. Fuad Halim, where he says the Prime Minister betrayed our braves, no condemnation for China?
Navika, I think, can I answer it? Come to question to me. Navika, one thing is very clear, more than banning these 59 Chinese apps, we need to ban these agents of China who cannot condemn China, who do ifs and buts in condemning China. These communists or anybody who cannot unequivocally say that our brave Shaheed who got Veer Gati on the border because of dastardly actions of China need to be condemned. Those people should be boycotted. I actually hope, I know you are a good host, you won't do it, but I hope you block them, you blank out their screens, because these people need to be boycotted more than anybody else.
Who's gutless? You think Dr. Fuad Halim, you should be awarded because you're calling this the betrayal of our soldiers by the Prime Minister, and that's the guts you're demonstrating? Well, people of India don't think so. People of India don't think so. If you think this is guts, this is shame. This is shame. And I have no problems in saying this, that this is shameful coming from a politician like yourself who stood for elections, who believes in the Constitution of India, and if you had won, you would have sworn by the Constitution of India, and today you are actually letting down this country by saying that China is not responsible and the Prime Minister is responsible?
The Prime Minister has not banned. The public is watching it. You have such a large audience watching it. Believe you me, they would ban all these agents of China.
Dipali, TikToker with us. Dipali, I want to ask you, has the Prime Minister let down our soldiers, or has China betrayed us?
China has completely betrayed us. And
So do you expect, Dipali, that Dr. Fuad Halim, who represents the CPIM, which is a national party, should have no problem in condemning China?
I would say that he should definitely condemn China. I don't know why he's opposing us and giving all the favor to Chinese people here. I can see the reality. We Indians can see the reality. Everybody can see the reality, but he can't.
Dr. Fuad Halim, before I get in Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, I give you one more opportunity. Don't go blue in the face shouting. I just want to ask you, will you condemn China for killing 20 of our soldiers? Will you condemn China? Can I have him alone on the screen with Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi and Dr. Fuad Halim? Dr. Fuad Halim, will you condemn China?
Very categorically we have said that the killing of our martyrs is absolutely unacceptable and condemnable. It is very fortunate that on your panel we have got courageous people who are questioning the Prime Minister, who has remained silent on this question.
Will you condemn China? Will you condemn China?
And that is the foundation on which we are asking the questions. We are categorically with the 20 soldiers who've laid down their lives with their families and with the Indian Army.
But you're saying that they lost their lives because of the betrayal of the Prime Minister, not the betrayal of China. Will you today say that it is China who betrayed India and India's brave sons?
We want the Prime Minister of India to say
Prime Minister. Obsession with the Prime Minister, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi.
So you do not have the courage to ask the Prime Minister.
What Halim is saying is nothing new. He's trying to give a fig leaf cover that he's having so much of passion for and affection for the soldiers. As Deepali was saying that she was unable to understand why he's saying like this. Younger generation should remember. The same Communist Party of India during 1962 China War, when V.S. Achyutanandan, who later became the Kerala Chief Minister, was a member of Politburo. He said he should donate the blood to the soldiers, and he was
we
expelled by
organized blood donations
people of
all over
Politburo,
India.
and it is against
The Communist Party was responsible for organizing blood donation camps
which was
in favor of our soldiers everywhere in India. There is no two ways about it. Sudhanshu, do not lie through your teeth. Do not lie through your teeth.
आपकी बैकग्राउंड वो है,
Do not lie through your
इसलिए
teeth.
हमें पूरी तरह पता है कोई आश्चर्य प्राप्त नहीं। और आज भी आप
You talk about how you supported the British.
removal of
You talk about how you
it was a defensive strategy by the government of India so that the information may not go to China. अरे भाई कौन लोग चाइना को information देना चाह रहे थे?
You talk about what
everything
you
is
and
clear
your
on the
is all
television
about.
channel.
Let the new generation know about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, viewers,
Prime Minister not condemning China.
And now
the Prime Minister of India has not condemned China on the Gangwar issue.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. If this doesn't shock you, I don't know what will. If this doesn't shock you, I don't know what will. We are engaged with China in a very, very stringent face-off. There are military, there are commanders' conferences that are on right there in Galwan Valley. They've been on for the last 11 hours. We've lost 20 soldiers. We've taken economic steps like banning apps, which is just among the few steps taken and few steps, which will continue over a period of time. But at such a time when India has lost 20 of her sons, guarding her territory, guarding you and me and even those who are on the screen today, finding it difficult to condemn China. Ladies and gentlemen, at a time when we as a country should be standing together to show China that ye band muthi hai, ye aapke saath ladegi, we are like this. We won't even unite in this kind of an adverse situation. What we will do is blame the Prime Minister for this betrayal and not China. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to appeal to your sense of judgment. I've presented to you the case and I've presented to you the witnesses and the evidence. What's the judgment of India going to be? People who cannot condemn China today, are they Indians? Do they have no love lost for our braves, our martyrs? And they call themselves Indians? And we tolerate this as the political fabric of India? Think about it, ladies and gentlemen, because you have to be the judge. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on debate number 1.